Hello and a very warm welcome. Thanks for tuning into News9 Live. Now, after 26 parties came together and named the alliance India or Indian National Developmental Inclusive Alliance, Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma tweeted on the need to remove colonial legacies. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma has removed India from his Twitter bio and added Bharat in its place, like you can see on your screens. Now, the NDA and the new alliance has now made it a Bharat versus India debate. The opposition alliance has also finalized a tagline, Jeetega Bharat, so as to avoid a debate on India versus Bharat.
নাম তো কৰিব পাৰে না মই নাজানো কিন্তু আমিতো আৰু ইন্ডিয়াত আছো লগতে আমি ভাৰততো আছো গতিকে আমি ভাৰত বুলি চলি থাকো
What message they have given yesterday's Mahagathbandhan by only naming India? India name. They are changing the UPA name, announcing India name. That is the only achievement they have done. What are the formalities? What are the modalities?
मानसिकता जो आरएसएस बीजेपी के है वो स्पष्ट होता है। हमारे लिए इंडिया भारत एक है और इंडिया बचाओ भारत बचाओ ये हमारे नारा है और जो लोग इंडिया और भारत को विभाजित करने का प्रयास कर रहे हैं वो मनुवादी सोच से प्रेरित है।
Joining me in the studio is my colleague Varghese Abraham. Varghese, let's take a look at some of those tweets over here. Okay, let's put out Himanta Biswa Sarma's tweet first. He's removed Assam, India. He now calls it Assam, Bharat. The tweet that he put out, saying that we must free ourselves from colonial legacies. Let's play that tweet out as well. There's a tweet where he properly calls out, there you have it. Our civilizational conflict is pivoted around India and Bharat. The British named our country as India. We must strive to free ourselves from colonial legacies. Our forefathers fought for Bharat and taught us the same, and we will continue to work for Bharat. BJP for Bharat. Now, interestingly, we saw the NDA alliance, getting into a huddle in the national capital. The 2-day mega event when it comes to the opposition unity, 26 parties that got together there. Jairam Ramesh has hit out at, the Assam Chief Minister. Take a look at that. He says, is the Assam Chief Minister having a surplus of sour grapes in his mouth? His new mentor, Mr. Modi, gave us Skill India, Startup India and Digital India, all new names for the ongoing programs. He's asked chief ministers of different states to work together as Team India. He even made an appeal to vote India. But when 26 political parties call their formation India, which is the Indian National Developmental Inclusive Alliance, a tough job for any journalist to be cracking ahead of 2024.
I've been saying it's going to be very difficult.
He throws a fit and says use of India reflects colonial mentality. He should go tell that to his boss.
Well, Jairam Ramesh could also add in the fact that recently we were talking about AI, America and India.
Right.
I mean, that's how we sold it to the Americans, right?
Right.
But anyway,
that we're talking about artificial intelligence, but the bigger AI here is that
the future belongs to
America and India.
Okay, so we actually sold that as well. So now we can't make it as AB. I mean, I'm a proponent for the word India. But again, for me as a journalist, it's still difficult when I say that there's a political alliance called India. Now, I have to put it as INDIA. I have to, break out from the fact that the idea of India and the nation of India, I have to break that in from the political grouping called as INDIA. But that doesn't stop me from saying that, I think this is a little too extreme when you go away and say that Bharat, India also known as Bharat. That's how the constitution refers to when it comes to the
preamble.
In the portions of the constitution where they are referring to what could be the official name of the country. So India also referred to as Bharat. So both the names do go hand in hand.
Aren't they the same thing?
See, they are the same.
A lot of people out there saying that, is there even a debate on our hands because India and Bharat seem to have the same thing? If you look at it politically, of course, after the name
politically, the name, see, this is what is driving this particular debate. Politically, they've decided to call INDIA, which I mean, see how difficult it is for me to have a conversation with you. I mean, I have to, because when our viewers will also find it difficult. I can't say India because they'll be under the confusion whether I'm referring to the country or to the political grouping. So I have to make it precisely clear. So the INDIA, which is to literally, give out the word India, you do spell the word India for you so that it looks very different. So that is something that we'll have to look at it. But then the question of, there is Bharat versus India. I mean, see, the question is about Bharat is what we call ourselves civilizationally. We've been calling ourselves Bharat. But then there is also Hindustan, which we civilizationally call ourselves. Then India is actually a Western way of looking at it from ancient times. For example, the Greeks were the first who had the word India. It's not the British who coined it India. It transferred into the British through Latin. So this is what actually the stories about India is all about. If you're trying to call it a British legacy, then we should have a problem with the Greeks, because the Greeks have been calling us the land east of the Indus River. I mean, Sindhu's corruption to Indus, that corruption through the Persians reaches the Greeks, and the Greeks makes it into India, and then you have the Byzantine Greek word of India, and then that moves into the European languages as Indi, because the Portuguese and the Spanish have been looking for Indies, and that's why we have West Indies, because one of the Spanish Portuguese travelers lands up in the New World, and you have West Indies, I mean the island group of nations, and then you have East Indies also, because the Dutch landed over there thinking it is India. So there is a legacy to it, and then you have the British come and they
So the
use it in their
nomenclature,
word.
the nomenclature and the history behind the nomenclature is organic, right?
It's very organic. So
the
so
Britishers
technically,
were to
it
term
is it is a European language incorporation of Sindhu to Indus to the Iranians and this thing use her, and then when it transferred into the Greeks, it became I. To use a better word, so it became I, and it became Indus, and India, and it became in the Byzantine Greek it becomes D-I-A. It becomes like the pronunciation something like that. India it becomes, and from there it goes to the other European languages, and of course it reaches in the original Old English it was I-N-D-I-E was the actual
when
word that
Himanta
was
Biswa
used.
Sarma says BJP for Bharat, right? It essentially seems like there is political brinkmanship at play. After the name was announced of this opposition alliance, the NDA did have to come up with something, right?
No, this
because
shows
people were saying that this is a smart use of the acronym.
But then you know what the alliance, the opposition alliance, is it Bharat Jeetega. That is the tagline they have introduced to it. So India and Bharat is going to be used, interchangeably. So India is the modern idea. I don't agree with it, but then they try to say that India is the modern idea of which we are trying to push on. So India is not technically a colonial legacy at all, because it is, the moving of the word towards other languages and how they in fact show
This
it.
is a bid by the ruling dispensation to tarnish the credibility of the new
But
name
what do you think?
of the alliance.
If you go by the local language of any of the local language, Bharat, I mean, it doesn't stop me from identifying with India. India doesn't stop me from identifying with the land. Hindustan doesn't stop me from identifying with the land. All this interchangeably are used. Look at our neighboring country. How do they refer to us? They refer to us as Bharat. They refer to us.
What about
India.
Jairam
They
Ramesh,
refer to us as
Jairam Ramesh's
Hindustan.
opinion about Skill India, Vote India, Team India? You've been using it for the longest time. If you wanted to do it, the 75 years of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, the Mahakal
now,
that's coming, you could have used the word Bharat over there in all those places.
No, you could have used that. You're right. What the Congress is saying, yeah. But the fact remains is that when you try to make it as a cultural battle between Bharat and India, the problem with that you're trying to actually push across is that what are you representing? You are representing, okay, if you're asking about civilizational ethos that you want to, as a continuity, look into it, that means you have to go through Megasthenes' writing of India, and of course he refers to India as the land east of Indus River, and therefore, it is a reference to an ancient India.
Right.
Worldwide. So the corruption of the language, and then suddenly you move, and I mean there is nothing wrong in him changing, India to Bharat, because officially also we are called Bharat. So that doesn't, so interchangeably you can use. But then the issue is this acronym. The issue is the acronym that is putting everyone into a kind of a tussle, because this acronym, I mean, if I have to define it, like for example, if it's India, the acronym is seen there, and that acronym of this political grouping is what is the problem.
See, essentially, we're mixing up.
So
two
you're
things
trying
here.
to.
We're mixing up two things here. First is, well, we can call the opposition alliance out for picking up India because of the usage is going to become difficult. The acronym in itself, it spells India, which is our country. But on the other hand, the debate that we're talking about here is India versus Bharat. Do we have a debate on our hands?
See,
is the question.
Traditionally,
Because people have already started talking about it.
Talking about
Anybody
okay.
that I've
no,
spoken
but
to
if
right
you're trying
now,
to say,
they say it's the same thing.
I was taking the etymological part of it. But if you're trying to say there is a debate, there is a debate in the way that even Congress has said that what did Bharat get? You know, they have been saying Bharat. Whom are they referring to? Bharat, rural India. They're referring to Bharat as rural India. Most of the times that has the kind of imagery that you have put across. And India is this modern suave cities and their skyscrapers. That is what you had. I've been. So when you say that it is going to be Bharat versus this thing, you're talking about maybe a fight against an elitism also. You know, so the debate goes in that level also when it comes to the issue about it. But then my issue is that if you're trying to say it's a Bharat versus India debate, there is an issue is about how will you, are you pitching your civilizational ethos against a modern idea? Because both go hand in hand. And then we, the people of India, we go to the preamble and say that we, the people of India, try to build this nation in a certain factor. So you're going into a modern concept of the idea itself of India. But now, I mean, politics of 2023 shouldn't define what is India and Bharat at the end of the day. Because both are interchangeably used. But if you want to give an idea of Bharat, you're probably trying to say that a group of people in this country who do not get represented the way they have to be represented, yes, then that is a masterstroke when you say politically saying that you're using Bharat against India. But then,
But where you're coming from hasn't really been reflected in any of the statements that have come out from, let's say, the ruling dispensation spokespersons. It looks like they're hurt with the fact that they couldn't come up with India before the opposition alliance did.
Are you sure it's like that? Because see, as a journalist, Kabir, be honest with me. Now we talk about grouping like this. How difficult it is to actually speak about it.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to stick with the.
I have to spell it out
the
every
opposition
time.
alliance India.
You have to spell it out, no, to say that the opposition alliance is different. I mean, INDIA has to be spelled out to say that it is a political grouping and not the country. I mean, how difficult is this?
I personally feel that it's too soon to be, coming out and.
I think we're going to face this issue in the coming months. I mean, we're going to face this issue in the coming
2024
months.
is right around the corner.
Yeah. In the coming months, we're going to face that issue because we're going to have to define these two groupings like that.
I'm just worried about
Just
the
made
kind
our
of
life a
graphics we're
little
going to put out, how much space and characters it's going to take.
No, that is the funniest thing. No, before you could write India, now you have to put, if you have to go for the political grouping, the only option left for us is I.N.D.I.A.
Or the hyphens
for
or
the
dots.
political grouping, yeah. Or you have to put the hyphens in.
Well, we'll have to wait and watch as to how things pan out in this particular scenario. Many thanks for your insightful input. It is going to be a tough, job in the days to come. But do we have a debate on our hands? How about you get down in the comment sections and tell us, India versus Bharat, do we have a debate or are we barking up the wrong tree? Many thanks for watching News 9. Lots more coming right on the other side.